Alyssa had 2, Sally had 2. Sally felt a bunch, which had happened on the previous heat of her yesterday. Just something not clicking on this event for her. But, you know, she knows better than me. Obviously, she's done a bunch of heats on the CT, runner-up in the world, and she's going to clean up for the next one, I bet.
Breaking through with no one on it, and then you throwing your hands in the air. Here we go! Let's open this heat up, starting with Miguel Pupo. Nice big snap there. Love Miguel's style. You know, everything in its proper place. Patient, little rock and roll floater there. Comes around this section. Really waiting to strike. There it is. You can see the influences here. Bobby Martinez, Rob Machado. Nice whippy, goofy footer. See some Jesse Mendez in there as well. The wingspan opens up through his bottom turn, up into the lip.
Much better than me.
That was a pretty good start.
No, if he doesn't capitalize, he's going to give that advantage to the surfers. And look how much downtime there was in this wave going down the line from now on. And he just kept the pace of the wave, didn't overcook it, read it perfectly, one floater, goes around the section, and then now that the wave gets a good pace, he starts to unload and top to bottom non-stop. Beautiful crack up the top. Once again, another turn.
It seems like he's corrected the problem that he had yesterday. Where he was over surfing the end of his waves, and that's just shows me his veteran knowledge. He slept on it, and he's just like, okay, just, you know, surf like I surf. Don't overdo it.
Veteran knowledge, and probably a little snapped by Adriano de Souza.
Yeah.
Because Adriano de Souza would never do that.
That was an awkward dinner, I'm sure.
Yes, So cleaning up, definitely Rayo's right there. Very clean. Obviously, a much cleaner surf he's having an offer right now than yesterday, but just beautiful timing. Like you mentioned, opening up those arms right there. Getting that board up and vertical. But that's Miggy going 50.
And now he'll get out there, and what we know about Miguel is most likely he'll be patient. Here we go, Edgard Groggia, the powerhouse rookie. Starts off with the wave pretty tall. He's hoping for this thing to grow down the line. It's kind of got a lot of different sizes already so far. Comes around this inside section. There he goes. All right, we've seen that from Edgard many times before. You're going to see it many times again. He is so good in the air. Super consistent.
Is the size of the wave, and the opportunities that we have today, they're slow, but they're amazing waves, peeling down the point around 4 foot. So you're going to see him here, very dynamic. Then gets the pop with all that energy that he has, and very fit. Probably bigger than we expected from that section, but this is going to be on the smaller side of the score because of the energy and the size of the wave. And I personally think this is a mistake, because now he sits in third priority. Next rotation comes, next set's probably with 2 waves, and it's not going to be his.
I mean, common sense will say that B.Perez will get the best waves of this heat. He knows this point like the back of his hand. So Edgard, who definitely has the least experience out here, Punta Roca, is going to have to surf above and beyond with the waves he's probably going to get. You know, one thing that out the back in position, he's having a deep think about this wave. Now he's paddling, and here we go. The Pink Panther up and at it. Deep bottom turn, heavy carve to start. Eyeing down the line, setting things up. So many different speeds already on this wave, and he's managing it nicely. Wow, 4 big bangers and a 5th. You can hear the crowd going wild for the local hero. B.Perez goes for the frontside reverse, nails it, and more to come. But we knew it. We knew that Perez was going to identify the biggest, best waves of this heat, and he's done just that. Will that be better than Miguel Pupo's opener?
Going on that small wave, he smashed it, but only got a 4.67, and this wave is a beauty. I love this timing right here. He notices the waves kind of go running down the line, so he kind of, instead of trying to commit on that section, he does a high line and gets into that 3rd gear right now, and the wave's just in a beautiful pace and keeps applying pressure. He's a little bit back-footed in most of those turns. You can see that in the beginning of it, he's a little bit hesitate, doesn't want to waste the opportunity, but then he starts to unleash halfway through it. Finish it off strong right here. Mediocre session, but really pushing. And he's, I mean, I feel like this is probably will be the best score of the heat so far. here's what I mentioned, like he redirects the board, takes his time, and then he starts to unleash when the wave has a good pace. But that turn right there, a little bit back-footed, hesitated. This one's better, and then he, once again, you can see the nose of the board really getting up and vertical, and this one, he drives through with that ray on the fins. That's what the judges are gonna take notice of. Combos it up with a very critical turn, and he's on his way to the best score of the heat and finish it off strong. Beautiful surfing. I think he, as much as he probably could have went bigger in a few sections, he still kept amazing pace throughout the wave and did more than enough to get a good score and a good position going into this heat.
With 21:10 to go, Brian Perez first score drops, and it's a biggie, a 7.33. Surfers now jockeying for position. It is going to be Miguel Pupo. Here we go, calm, casual start. Now he winds up into a series of turns, and that stung. I did not want to see that happen. I think the more Miguel we get to see surf, the better.
Now he's going to have an opportunity, and let's see if he's going to capitalize on this wave, if that's the right wave to pull the trigger.
Groggia looking for a grower here. You see it starting to spin off down the line, building speed. Casual floater with the airdrop, comes around the section, hammers it. Here we go. This is more like it from Edgard Groggia. Let me guess. Air on the inside? No, float. Oh. Doug Rail has entered the chat. Both surfers. There we go. No, there we don't go.
Turn off the wave so far. Like you can see it here, he starts off nicely down the line, takes his pace, goes up in floater, very relaxed, and then right here starts to unleash because the wave has a good pace. That's a beautiful turn. But then the wave dies out a bit, carves it off nicely, and then that's when he starts to lose the rhythm of the wave. The wave gets a little bit faster than he expects. He really needed to finish that to capitalize on that opportunity because that was a nice rotation, almost landing it with the nose first.
Not a lot of flow on this wave, in my opinion. I mean, you see the tricks, the maneuvers, but kind of, you know, there was a lot of things happening in between these turns that hindered that flow.
Missed time.
We want to see.
Missed the timing, you know, like that floater kind of set him up as much as he took his time, but needed to be with a little bit more energy to generate more speed throughout the floater. Got too relaxed. And sometimes that happens a lot when you're nervous. But let's check here what happened to Edgard. We missed that. We just saw kind of the claim for it. That was a beautiful rotation from him. Once again, getting a very good pop. He's going to try and grab that slaw bear, but barely touches. Still nice and high. Just once again, smaller wave. But it did feel good. Obviously, it's going to be a boost of confidence for him.
The way that Edgard was puffing out his chest, I think something big happened right there. We'll get back to it as we see now Brian Perez coming around this section. Straight up vertical, nice layback snap right in the pocket. I love where he's positioned on this wave. He's just hovering around that whitewater. That's going to give him the most push. He snaps it again. Somebody just screamed in the grandstands. Here come the whistles. Here comes the ramp. Perez, nice and clean with the front three. Things are escalating in elimination round heat 1. The crew is raging.
Second priority.
Judge is well aware. Will that hinder his score a little bit that he didn't get the grab?
Probably, yeah. But it shouldn't play a factor to it. I think that was still a great air. Just, I think the biggest thing of that wave itself is just the size once again, smaller wave. Brian surfed that wave very well. Started off a little bit on slower pace and then started to get a little more aggressive towards the end and finish it off strong. Knew he needed to finish that wave. It's very important with the 7.33. It's such a big gap in comparison to his opponents as far as the best wave of the heat so far. That first one and second one missed time a bit and then started to go to town. Third one, beautiful, bringing it all the way back around, took his time and finished off strong with a nice 3. Sorry, one more turn before that.
That was great surfing. Real fun to watch. And those are the type of turns, these ones in the pocket, where everything's right in its proper place. Those turns feel so good. And we know how much surfers thrive on the feeling of a good turn. You do one of those, that's setting yourself up for the rest of the wave, and I think that's what happened right here for Perez. I mean, that was like an escalation from beginning to end. It's going to be a big number. He is destined for greatness after that wave. But here we go. Edgard Groggia starting to warm up out here. He's got a 5.4 on his last wave, and now he finds himself in yet another kind of small wave, but he's been making the most of them. Gets the front three there with the grab. Moves around this inside section. Little racetrack right here. Blows the tail. I mean, just doing the dirty work there on that inside.
This wave is a little better than that, obviously taping off, but not as intense of a section that he had on the previous one with that closeout. But beautiful carve here, setting up things very nicely. Gets there, reverse again. He's probably looking the best in this heat so far as just putting on the work and confidence. You can see all the turns are very explosive and timing very well. But the problem is the size of the wave, and
you can still find a wave to serve. So El Salvador absolutely holding a lot of aloha. I have to find the Spanish word for aloha. Here we go. Perez goes grande, but goes down. 410.
That was massive.
That was huge. But we know every Pupo in the world right now is standing up, ready for this. Miguel Pupo takes the low road, nails that oncoming section, comes around. He's got a beautiful open face to work with. There we go. The 1.5's gone. Now he needs to surf for above and beyond a 4.90. So far, so good. A beautiful style, precise. Straight up to the lip again. Okay, now I can say, it's safe to say, none of us were worried. I mean, this is Miguel Pupo. He's that good.
After that first turn,
you knew
the
it.
amount of possess that he had on the front foot, on a critical section like that, with the pressure that he dealt with, that he's dealing with, I already knew he was going to finish that wave off. Like, that was beautiful from Miguel and expectable.
You're watching the Surf City El Salvador Pro. Be right back.